This will be a bit of a quicker video because I have a thought experiment that I really want to show you guys in real time because I personally am tired of hearing all about how Biden had a DEI cabinet and his picks were unqualified and terrible and based off race. And now that Trump's cabinet picks are coming in, I want to measure that up against Biden's to see who has more qualifications, allegations, and who fits the bill for more deep state or establishment type picks. So let's get right into it. And I mean, allegations to start are probably the easiest, as there's allegations against numerous of Trump's picks. Biden's picks did not have that issue. Point to Biden for not choosing potential, criminals, sexual assaulters, and more to be in his cabinet. Now, in Biden's DEI cabinet, 24 of the picks in his entire cabinet, there was 5 of those who were black people. 2 of the 15 in the cabinet were black, and 3 of the 9 ranked positions were black. I mean, how unfair is that? Like, he had more than one? What are you doing? I mean, the way MAGA complains about Biden's cabinet and being DEI, you would think that it was like half, at least, 40% close, but no, 20% of the cabinet being black is way too much. But let's also do that. Let's line up Biden's black picks specifically to Trump's picks for the same position, so we can see how unqualified these black people are about the kinds of qualifications that Biden should have been looking for, right? Because clearly they should be much less qualified than Trump's white billionaire picks, right? So let's start with Secretary of Defense. Lloyd Austin both served longer than Pete Hegseth in the military and as a higher rank. Then after the military, Lloyd Austin went on to do Central Command, to work under Obama as well in military positions, while Pete Hegseth became a Fox News host. Sounds like a pretty easy point to Biden there in terms of qualifications and experience. Now, HUD is a traditionally black role, so both men appointed a black person here, so we'll kind of gloss over it. It's not the DEI black pick versus white. It's obviously DEI pick versus DEI pick, right? But anyway, I digress. Trump appointed a state legislator to this pick with no housing experience. Biden appointed a member of Congress who worked on numerous ethnic and housing committees. Easy point to Biden again. HUD is literally ethnic housing. Like, the only one of them that had any experience with that is Biden's pick. For EPA, Trump appointed Lee Zeldin, climate change denier with no environmental experience, no environmental legislative success. He worked in Congress briefly, was never on any environmental committees, nothing like that. Biden appointed Michael Reagan, career environmental regulator, worked under Clinton and Bush doing environmental things, so a partisan pick in terms of his view on the environment. VP of the Environmental Defense Fund, I think, the EDF. He worked in environmental quality control, developed environmental initiatives in North Carolina. I mean, easy point to Biden again. It's literally no comparison here. UN ambassador, Trump appointed Elise Stefanik, whose experience is basically a seat on the Armed Service Committee. That's not really like one-to-one in how it would translate, but it's kind of relevant, so we'll add it as her experience. Obviously, we know she served in the House of Representatives. Now, Linda Thomas Greenfield, Biden's appointment of whom I hate to the core, terrible person. She at least has extensive foreign experience, relevant experience, direct UN experience as well. She was a member of the Foreign Service. They work under the UN or with the UN pretty much. She was secretary to African Affairs, ambassador to Liberia. She worked in different UN postings in like Sweden or Switzerland and different countries. Easy point to Biden again. I mean, qualifications, experience, not even close here. For economic advisor, Trump appointed a rich guy, pretty much. And he is at least the first of these picks to have some qualifications relevant to the position, it seems, right? He worked for the AEI. He was a big stock market guy. So he's very much, billionaire economist type mold. Though important to note, he's also pro-rich guy tax cuts funded by Social Security and Medicare cuts, but qualified at least. In terms of qualified. But it does speak to, what Biden's or what Trump's goals are going to be here. But that doesn't matter for what we're discussing here. He has somewhat qualifications. Biden's pick still wins, however, by role of experience that is exact to the role. She worked in the exact role before, right? He picked Cecilia Ruse, I believe is her name, who is a Harvard economic PhD graduate who went on to serve on the National Economic Council as an economic advisor to Obama, is director of the Princeton Economic Research Center, associate of NBER. So again, while Trump's guy at least has experience, I would etch out hers for having actually worked in the role, coming in with knowledge and experience of how to operate, as well as, obviously the economic experience to get things done. So it seems like clearly when we look at Trump's picks versus Biden's DEI hires, Trump hasn't picked a single white guy for any of the positions. It's one-to-one positions too. We're not comparing different positions that has more qualifications for that specific position. Yet only Biden gets caught out for picking unqualified candidates and doing DEI. It's almost like the real issue here is just with race, that these people don't ever actually value or look into qualifications. They just see a black person and think, well, they must be unqualified. It's a black person. They must be taking the position from a more qualified white person. How else could Biden have 5 black people in his cabinet? There's no way that 5 black people were more qualified than 5 white people. And it's weird that they then don't care about the drop-off in qualifications of the people Trump appointed because they're white. Because they're white and because they're billionaires, who cares? Because that's not the deep state elites. Like, what are we doing here? Like, his cabinet is literally filled with billionaire elites, like those who want to utilize the government to enrich themselves, those who literally have enriched themselves off government contracts, right? Most of whom inherited the wealth, did little to earn it, have controversy surrounding it. But like, of course, you know, Biden's cabinet is the real problem because he appointed like 5 black guys and Trump kept it to the typical 1 black appointment. So who cares about anything else, right? Qualifications, schmalifications. Every administration gets 1 free black guy card, but after that is clearly DEI and you're taking jobs from qualified white people. So you gotta watch yourself.